Hello game players, welcome to Treasure of a Blizzard. It's a demo and the full version will be released on Steam next week, but I am keen to see what this one will deliver. It only appeared on Gamejolt today, and I do like a good visual novel. This one, I'm either going to have a very good fate or I could die terribly. I don't think I'll play the full demo because the full version will significantly have changed apparently, but this will give us a good idea. The dry wind lifts sand and throws it to the eyes. Here comes the stroke of sword. The opponent, unsuccessfully trying to protect with the shield, red with blood fell down. Here comes the joy of victory. It's banquet time. A loud roar of your battle buddies, clatter clinking goblets. The head is unclear. Disjointed mumbling of a herald. Here comes the feeling of anxiety, growing with each second. Cold sweat. Fear. The voice of Governor General of the Northern Lands sounds, handing out a sentence. Despair. Bending down farther. The flash of fury. Resignation. Hey you, lie abed. Is that my name? A sudden push took me out of a nightmare. Hey, wake up! The weather gets worse and we need to pass through the mountain pass. I opened my eyes and, feeling relief, saw Lynn. You again! I am sick and tired of seeing your face in the morning. Oh, my name is Kang. I like that name. Of course. It's far from the truth. Despite such terrible incidents, I am quite happy to see my childhood female friend again. Don't worry. Soon our paths will diverge. Getting up, I noticed that the girl glanced uneasily at me, still maintaining her mask of disaffection. You. Another nightmare. Do you care about it? A sulky girl rushed forward, not waiting until I gathered my possessing. My possessing? I took sack. Approximately 3 years ago, I parted with Lynn, shouting at each other, and now, when we meet again, she didn't cool down. As a result, I always turn her aggression back. However, I don't feel the way like this, honestly speaking. I think it might have been translated. It's a bit odd here and there. In order to catch up with Lynn, I had to hasten my steps. It wasn't too easy, taking into account all my belongings were with me. What did you hear in tavern? The tavern. Okay. Now she will start speaking about my deafness and my passion for drinks. Things narrow in her eyes. Maybe she remembers the rumour, or maybe she thinks whether to let me know or not. Probably the last one, because she had a brilliant memory for recollecting all unnecessary talks. Do you care? It would be suspicious if she hadn't asked. The weather looks unnatural, I guess. It was quite logical to get interested about the reason for the snow in summer, especially when the snow drifts quite high. Why didn't you ask for your drinking companion about it? It's clear. You have been busy with something else. I assume you need to hear more of what the surrounding people really speak about. Do you know demonic wolves? They could meet there while serving on the border. They say the wolves are hunting in packs. Can you imagine that? Even one wolf is enough to be a great problem. What if they start hunting together? I sigh to myself. Most of the rumours Lynn used to listen in were of not too great value. They were just nonsense. Besides, I was interested in quite material and quite cold snow. What's wrong with the weather? Maybe you will listen to more interesting stuff. I hear the ghost appeared in the mountains. Can you imagine? The real ghost. Lynn was worried so much that she almost fell down. stumbling over a snag of the fur, hidden somewhere in snow. I hope we won't meet him as long as we're afraid of magic. As long as you're afraid of magic, okay? She clasped the trunk of the tree and stood erect. Her ears got red. I am not afraid of it! Lynn got silent. The magic was quite worrying her. But the wish to tell everything was beyond her. You wanted to learn more about the weather, didn't you? They say it's snowing near the mountain pass all year round. It was quite strange. At least the mountains located in 2 to 3 day journey from here are covered with snow only on peaks. Oh, by the way, I heard that they've seen the beastmen before. Why don't they sit around in their holes? Maybe the activity of the demonic wolves is closely connected with them. Do you follow me? Well, yeah, wolves, beastmen. I was looking around trying to find a source of steam. It's like it floated in the air. My hands were freezing because they were not protected with gloves. We didn't take either of them and any other warm clothes with us, as we didn't expect unnatural cold. Finally, I noticed what I'd been looking for. Do you see geysers? We could warm ourselves near them. Nick was obviously not pleased with the fact that her speech had been almost ignored. However, she was quite freezing, so she couldn't refuse to have a rest. Okay, but anyway, we left lodging for the night about an hour ago. I hope you won't stop each time you get frozen. I assume we won't light a campfire here. There was a dry fallen tree near the source of water, with steam swirling over the spring. The tree was quite far to let splashes of periodically active geysers reach it, but still it was quite near to let it get warmed. Having taken one of my bags, Lynn got seated onto the trunk of the tree. Definitely she made sure there wasn't any anthill with sparkle frosty ants. Oh, anthill, excuse me. The typeface is quite, She took bread and cheese out of the bag. I cut one slice of each with her dagger. Did she remember I hadn't eaten anything since morning? Do you want to visit the capital so much? Both bread and cheese set out, right to her mouth. Do you want to go there under the circumstances like this? I took away a dagger and cut my breakfast with it. I shouldn't have counted upon Lynn's care about me. You're probably upset, but you know pretty well what could have happened to your father otherwise. What idiot can support the rebels? I sighed and swallowed my breakfast. The stuff she had been talking about was just exaggeration. My father didn't support anyone, but he only fed and gave a shelter to the refugees from rebellious provinces. Nothing will happen to you there. I will watch after you in order not to let you go or do something extra. Nothing else. I wish you had come with me to the capital, not to serve on the border. You could settle down the contacts so nobody could blame you about anything. You again. This stuff about the capital. I told you from the very beginning. I am not the kind of a man who grovels before big daddies to get miserable pittance. Lynn jumped up, seized my collar, and gave me a push on the tree near us. I do not grovel my belly before anyone to get miserable pittance. The impulse of the strike affected the tree, and big layers of snow started to fall. Ow! They didn't have enough time to step back, and one of the snow layers fell onto her head. She fell down with shock. Are you okay? Thanks to the fact that I was standing near the trunk of the tree, I wasn't touched with snow. I waited a little bit to let the snow fall till the end, and then sat near Lynn to help her get rid of the arrested snow. Snow was friable and soft because the warm spring was quite soft and friable. I hope she won't get ill because such kind of snow constitutes a menace. I'm all right. Shit! I watchfully looked up, hoping that her sneezing won't make snow fall more than before. Having taken off my cloak, I offered it to Lynn. I don't need it. Take it. I will somehow do without you. She pushed the cloak off and sat in the fallen tree. I saw the frozen struck slightly through her. Freezing, damn. Having caught my gaze, she averted her face. I actually will do without it, but you'll be frozen stronger. Take it. I would accept it from a man who thinks I grovel before somebody. You. I didn't let her speak further and covered her shoulders with the cloak. Her face was red, and she had probably caught a cold already. The impact force was so strong that I found myself in snow. Lynn's face expressed some kind of guilt, feeling, and she was averted her face again. The cloak was on snow near me. I actually wanted to help you. Unlike tender guardians of the capital, I was quite resistant to cold. I couldn't get ill because of the small things like this. However, I feel like lying in snow for a while in order to make Lynn speak, so I put my cloak on. I didn't ask you. Are you going to wake up? Childish behavior. Now you'll be the only one to need the cloak. She somehow stood up and came to me. Ah, my first choice of the day. Start speaking venomous remarks. Answer softly. I'm not going to speak venomous remarks. I'm not a rude guy. You're still the same girl character I liked once. Do you remember us fighting in the snowdrifts? What are you talking about? I remember. Lynn got even far redder and turned aside. Probably her mood got even worse than I had been. I stood up and offered my cloak once again. Lynn, come on. For our childhood friendship's sakes, take the cloak. Your stubbornness will make everything worse. She, not looking at me, stretched her hand and took the warm cloak. Having put it on, she awkwardly took away the map. We need to go that way. Her quit voice was hardly heard. Maybe her cold was even worse than I expected. Then, why don't you light the campfire and make yourself warm? She quickly, negatively, shook her head and, putting away the map, moved the way she had pointed before. I quietly gathered the belongings and followed her. Probably I should have listened on the longer halt. But now Lynn doesn't look the personality to be persuaded easily. The sun started hiding behind the snow-flanked hills, and the clouds started getting pink. The health of Lynn was quite suspicious to me. She's got 2 N's in her name now. Even though I gave her my cloak, she showed the signs of cold. If this situation keeps going, then tomorrow she will be all in because of the high temperature. Lynn, what about sleeping in one sleeping bag tonight? Having seen the sword looking right at me, I realised I said something wrong. And whoa. And I concerningly raised my hands. What I mean is that you look sick and you need to get warm. I didn't think anything else. Don't worry. I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. It was in the shade of trees. Did you see that? The striped deer rushed all of a sudden, right out of the bushes, and hadn't noticed us. Flashed by our pass. Don't sweet talk to me, you pervert! Look, freezing howling sound through the roaring of the snowstorm. You mentioned you were told about these snowy wolves hunting in pack, didn't you? Now I didn't worry about the sword aimed at me. When I was in the army, there was a rumour about the demonic beasts that cut away everything on their way. I definitely have grave doubts about supernatural powers, but I have no intention to meet them without my sword. I do not let Lynn answer. I'm putting her sword away. Take her hand and hurry a brother further. We shouldn't stay here. We need to go further. Maybe they will find another prey, and even if they smell us, they won't pursue us. Lynn sheathed the sword back. I noticed with the corner of my eye, her face getting redder than usual. Usually. You feel worse, don't you? If you like, I can carry you in my arms. I'm already carrying sacks for the night hold. Food and sleeping bags for me and Lynn. However, if she feels sick, I can carry her to at least. I experienced worse situation when I was in the army. No, go ahead. Yo, you fool! She pushed away my arm and made distance between us longer. Okay. Now she's moving all by herself, without staggering out. I better too keep all forces for something unexpected. We get going further to the place of mountainous pass, as quick as the snowstorm let us. Going forward is now getting harder. I also notice Lynn's leg stumbles at every step because of her fatigue. However, my frozen extremities is now moving almost the same way. What is it? Look, am I mistaken? Oh, I see the light over there. I nodded in direction of the light source. If not heavy twilights, I wouldn't notice it because it was heavily snow. Then stopped and looked in the pointed direction. I don't see anything. But even if there's something, you know yourself how dangerous the houses in the woods can be. When we were kids, we almost died in one of such houses. I put my arm on her shoulder and pushed her to the light. We should risk and check. You don't want to meet the snow beasts, do you? I will handle with wool. Huh? I don't mean wolves. You said yourself. There was a rumor about the ghosts in the village, didn't you? Ghosts! Do you think they may be here? Honestly, I didn't believe in all this stuff, but the threat of being found by the wolves was against my plans. Lynn is a person who is hard to be explained how dangerous these creatures may be. She believes that she will overpower them in any case. And she's a hard person to be explained to. She can easily die because of cold. The capital Milksop is behind all this stuff. I'm sorry, Milksop? I keep leading her to the side where the light was. Who knows? Maybe there is something. Ooh, nice. Apparently someone was living there. The lights seemed to attract to visit the house. But who is living here? I could hardly go through the rest of Snowdrifts. The houses look nice and like a usual house. We walked around it and, having got up the steps, saw the door plate with a bell. The recreation is always welcome in this house. The landlord apparently has taste blindness for welcome words. Well-marked signs like, "Come and drink as much as you like," attracted me more. It seems to be a guest house. I've never seen such a strange location for a guest house. Having glimpsed a troubled Lynn, I rang the doorbell. No reaction came. Is anybody there? Do not shout the way like this. You can come inside and let's speak to the landlord inside. Lynn unsheathed the sword. If here lives a human being, I don't think the landlord will be happy if someone breaks into his house. Not following my words, Lynn, now spelled with an E, came inside. I followed her. I hope she won't do anything. That's better. I do like these sort of houses. I wish I could live in Japan, I really do. Take it. Not letting the sword out of her hands, Lynn held out a cloak for me. While I, being surprised at the sudden ask, was holding a cloak in one of the sacks. A sound was heard from the second floor. I gestured the girl to be quiet. A young gal was gracefully coming down to us. Having noticed me, she flirtatiously smiled at me. Sorry for breaking in, but we... The girl came closer to me and outstretched her hand to my collar, as if she tried to shake off the snow. Her fingers touched my cheek as I faltered, not being able to finish my speech. I'm so glad to the guests. It was long ago when someone came into my house. Would you like to stay for a night? I'm always glad to visitors. If they're able to pay, of course. Her name didn't appear this time. Lynn pushed me away from the landlady. You don't lose money in the snowdrifts, did you? No, wait! Don't you have money with you? Do you? Well... Yeah. Lynn pulled my clothes and angrily whispered in my ear. She may be a witch, and you're flirting with her. I looked in wide-eyed astonishment at blushing Lynn and saw her getting nervous. That was not usual for her. Are you jealous? No. Helen pushed me away and aimed the sword at me. A couple seconds later, she regained her consciousness and aimed the sword at the strange girl, thinking she could be more dangerous. The stranger girl kept her cool and took a bow in a gesture of respect. My name is May. Oh, bow, excuse me. My name is May, and I am not a witch, young lady. A calmness like this shook Lynn's resoluteness. I put my hand onto her shoulder, put her sword down with the other hand. I can't figure out what that word is. Conciliatorily. It's a new word for me. My name is Kat, and here is Lynn. Please, forgive her. She's afraid of everything supernatural, and she worries about the rumour in the village. Lynn angrily looked at my side. Apparently she didn't like that I mentioned her weakness for magic. But I need to tell her that in order to calm the situation. Don't worry, I get it. Besides, it's true in some way. They named the girl again. You are a witch, aren't you? May concerningly raise her hands. I'm going to say concerningly when I see that word. No, there's nothing like this. I simply heard the ghosts had appeared nearby. Lynn almost jumped to the ceiling. Ghosts! I sighed and rumbled her hair. Calm down, I won't let anyone hurt you. The inoffensive phrase I used to say when a child made Lynn worry even more. Then we are doomed to failure for sure. I weakly smiled at the landlady. I think we won't refuse to have a snack. Well, have some drinks too. At least the sandstorm outside, we can get warm. Do you have, don't you? May empathetically smiled at me. Definitely, please. Make yourself comfortably in hall. I will turn back and bring anything shortly. The landlady left the hall, and we settled ourselves at the table. And this is pretty strange. Such a pretty girl is living in the abandoned location like this. Such a pretty girl. It's the only thing that's of interest to you. However, I myself would be afraid to live in a place like this. If anything happens, then nobody knows we have been eaten by the ghosts. There was everything about the ghosts. I can only guess on how she got into the army with her true bravery. And I am worrying about her health. She looks quite lively, but she blushes too often. I moved so closer to her that our shoulders started touching. I hope this will help her to get warm as long as she gave the cloak back, and she doesn't want to put it on again. I kept our talk so that she couldn't realise my movements. Maybe she inherited this house. And why did you decide she is a witch? Do you really believe in the fairy tales told by peasants? The normal people do not live in places like these. Oh, so nice. You're sitting so close like a couple of sweethearts. Lynn looked at me and, having noticed the distance between us, crawled away to the distant part of the table. This is not true. How dare you match me with this idiot? The landlady sat back in the place where Lynn had been several moments ago, and having put a tray down, started placing the plates with food. Young lady, a bit more tender. Having finished serving, May hugged my arm and put her head on my shoulder. What is she doing? Maybe she is one of the Red Lilies. Having glimpsed at Lynn, I understood she took it closer to her heart than she did. She began to create a compressed... She began to creak and compress the chopsticks. Here came the crack, as expected. The chopsticks were broken by her pressure. Do not worry. Hang on. I will change them briefly. May took the broken chopsticks and left the room. Having returned, the gal sat a little bit distant from me. Apparently Lynn's killing look influenced on her. I may have already mentioned, I didn't see many guests recently. I'm bored to death. Please, tell me what's going on outside, and please, tell me about yourselves. She winked while saying the last phrase, letting know it was quite important. I'm leading him under arrest to the capital. I didn't know I was under arrest. Try not to give too much attention to this loud statement. I swallowed soft and heated wine. It was of great quality, and I was quite surprised at how this wine could appear in such a thick of the forest. Ah, that means you're a criminal, young master. Then hurried to put a slice of meat into her mouth. Not him. Ah, okay, good. But his father is. Oh, nuts. Apparently not considering Lynn's attitude towards the landlady, the taste of May's food was up in Lynn's preferences. She almost forgot about the manners for a while. The very manners that were hammering from the early childhood. The limited phrases like these ones do not give any further information. My lady, young man, could you tell me more? I believe you will succeed in this. Lynn began to creak because of coming down. You know absolutely nothing about it. Lynn, calm down. May, could you be more delicate when speaking to Lynn? Well, I know you're the landlady and we're your guests, however... besides, everything what she said was the truth. However, I do not consider my father a criminal. He betrayed the Emperor. It's all the same. I swallowed more. This topic is our sticking point, and because of that our relationship got worse. Father just handed out the grain to peasants, yes. But the very peasants who rebelled and who lived in neighborhood province. But they were ordinary hungry people. Were not they? Rebellious people. Reduced to despair thanks to the taxes of your beloved emperor. Apparently wine finally made its move. Usually I'm quite calm. However, I didn't drink too much. In the meanwhile, the landlady kept looking at me with her weird gaze, as if she'd been expecting for something. Being surprised at my loud voice, then hemmed. Come on, he helped them significantly. Huh? Yeah, especially taking into consideration the fact that they were all executed. Your happy family could hardly get rid of this without our help. You should be grateful. What does she mean? Yeah, what do you mean? Oh, well, you didn't know. My father said a word for your father when he met the Emperor. Otherwise you and your father couldn't get rid of his. And you stated the relationship and connections are dishonourable. Sorry. And thanks. You will say this to my father. You'll have time when we reach the capital. She looked quite satisfied. Maybe she thought I knew about it and didn't want to say thanks. Then I would look quite ungrateful. Anyway, what to expect in the capital city? He, as long as he's young genius captain, will be assigned to serve the guard. They won't let this talent go wasted. But he won't be permitted to leave the capital city, and he'll be under supervision. You do really need to say thanks to my father. I assume you know about this. Otherwise you would be imprisoned. Even worse. I closed my eyes and nodded. I need to have thought about it. I didn't think things had gone so easily. I knew the Emperor's attitude towards the Darth Breakers. So he won't be able to be my guests again? Yeah, I guess. Well, lonely lady. To ask for guest strangers like me. Now, tell me about yourself. Why don't you go from these woods to some more inhabited place? I am kept here by a promise. Besides, someone has to help travellers to handle with mountainous ways what sunsets in these mountains. What terrible snowy blizzards in the end of summer. May started giggling and hugging my arm as if she was seeking the warmth. The end of summer is the best time for a snowstorm. I assumed the last joke of my landlady was not too funny, and I tried to break an unpleasant pause. And the flower that serves the decoration in your hair, is it natural? May expressed tension, and there came some mystical lights in her eyes. You are not the simpleton in spite of your look. What are you talking about? A failure? Butter May or let's question landlady. I'm a nice guy. She's cute. I'm gonna butter her. I hope that's not literal. I realised it made the atmosphere even worse. Well, I didn't have anything to lose. This flower suits you. It matches the colour of your eyes, and you are beautiful too. It's been long ago since I got such pleasant compliments. What are you talking about? What flower? Not mentioning Lynn's presence, May leaned to me and whispered, "You yourself are a very beautiful young man." Handsome! I am handsome! Men are not beautiful! Men are handsome! For a moment or so, a thought flitted across that I did not want to leave this place. May gathered empty plates and placed them onto the tray. Then she stood up. "Now make up your rooms. Please wait for me here. And as per the first floor, there are my belongings. Please do not enter there." Having waited till dull sounds of landlady's steps get quieter, they moved closer to me. "You got quite tipsy. Didn't she mix anything into it? You know, the gals used to add different stuff to alcohol. Or did you decide to attract her by the behaviour like this? You pervert!" There came my facepalm. Pervert. Really? Is that her real attitude toward me? I really see the flower. And what about the different things? What were you really trained in the capital city? Lynn, having blushed, elbowed me and stood up. "Nothing!" Well, I guess she was taught something. I hope. Her virginity was not the victim of such an education, because her family would have a hard time to find a proper spouse for her. With a character like hers, as long as it was in army, I almost forgot about her habit to elbow me without any reason. Or almost without any reason. I came to steps and May came to the room. I quietly stood up, hoping for she didn't notice our quarrel. "Please, I will show you your rooms. Have nice dreams and the evil spirits not catch you in your nightmares." Hope she's not serious. Evil spirits? If you want to, I can sleep in the same room with you to protect. I didn't even have time to finish saying as Lynn quickly closed the door into her room. To sleep in the dark woods in the distance of a single meter. It's quite normal for her. While to sleep in the same room is not. Okay, I get it. I can help you too while away at night, young master. No thanks. And I hurried to shut the door to my room. I packed our belongings, I lay into bed and quickly fell asleep. Hello. Ooh, got loud. Having opened my eyes, I discovered myself in a quite unfamiliar dark room. My head was foggy. Where am I? And why there's a half-naked girl sitting in front of me? The sunlight of the candle lighting the shelves of medicines. Stop! Why on earth? There are eyeballs floating inside the medical jars, are they? Human? I shook back a little bit and bumped against the wall. I heard a dull sound. The gal turned to my side. Having let her eyes linger on the door, she turned back. Did she see me? And I guess I know her. May! Lynn accompanied me to the capital city, and on our way, we turned to a house where Lynn was the landlady. Huh? Lynn was a landlady? She was the same girl who is sitting in front of me now. I appeal to you, oh my lady, the senior demon wrong. Why did she speak to a flower? Why does it look like the one I saw on her head? Why? A demon? Yes, May the Junior. Though I seldom to connect with me. What's the matter? I guess the sound comes from the pentagram. I want to leave this place. I tried to open the door, but with no success. There wasn't even a snap with the closer lock. The door looked as if it had merged with the wall. Magic. I think I start understanding why Lynn is so afraid of it and hates it. Where is Lynn, by the way? The guests appeared in my house. They are the humans. Humans? Is there anything for you to surprise? Do what you do. But one of them saw my artifact. Yes. Are you sure? Yes. What do you want from us to help you? Even though this someone may be half-blood, you can deal with him yourself. Is that clear? May drooped. It was clear from her stooping pose and drooping shoulders. Yes, I am sorry, my lady, and I am saying goodbye to you. Wait. Do not break the connection. I heard there were wolves that appeared in your region, including the white she-wolf. If she appears before your eyes, do not argue with her. She is stronger than you. Also, we won't send any help to you, as long as it may have conflict worse. She likes the brain. Just give what she wants. Just play up to her. Yes, my lady. May I stretch to the flower and... gone. I woke up with a splitting headache. Did I drink too much yesterday? I heard the sound of an opening door and turned my head to the direction. How long are you about to sleep? We need to leave soon. Lynn was standing on the threshold. Having glimpsed at her, I realized there is something wrong with her. Are you okay? I stretched my hand and touched her forehead. What are you doing? She pushed away my hand, but I managed to feel the heat of her forehead. I guess you got sick. Are you sure we have to leave now? And what do you think? While I'm able to go, I will do that. I don't think it's a great idea. And what if there's a snowstorm outside like yesterday? Lynn exultantly smiled and proudly raised her forefinger. Unlike you, I woke up long ago, and guess what I've seen? Crystal and blue sky. And what if I also have a headache? Lynn hemmed and hurried to play with her hair, wrapped her hair around the finger. You should drink less. I'm sick and tired to repeat the phrase after each. She quickly skipped talking and touched her head with her hand. A couple of seconds later she relaxed and angrily looked at me. It doesn't mean anything. I'm able to walk. And so are you. Thus, there must be no objections. I sigh. Was she a stubborn girl like this when we were a child? Okay, I got you, but please promise me. If you still feel worse, then you will let me know, okay? She shook her shoulders and turned aside. Let's go and have breakfast. I've already paid the landlady, just for your information. Otherwise she will express her harassment again. On entering the wide room where we had breakfast before, I found out that May is sitting on the serving table. Good morning, young master. Did you sleep well? I crinkled my nose. It seemed that I was to have a terrible nightmare tonight. Last night. I could hardly call the night a pleasant night, although my headache let me know of its existence. Honestly speaking, not too much. And what about you, Lynn? It seems that there are really evil spirits in your place. I couldn't sleep half the night because of nightmares. Did you really have a good night's rest? No, but this makes no change. Lynn loudly sat at the table and started eating, showing off that I would hardly butter her to remain here longer. I noticed May thoughtfully staring at Lynn. I'm sorry for my curiosity, my lady. The colour of your hair is quite unusual. I've never seen any of the guests had a colour like this. Blushed Lynn coughed. I sat near her and got to have my breakfast. When we were childhood friends, I often heard this question, so I wasn't surprised. Do you care about it? Yes, my mum is far from Western Kingdoms, but that doesn't mean you should preconceive me. My father is the Governor General of the huge properties, and you will have the devil and hell if you would plot regarding my origins. May almost closed her eyes and put her head on her shoulder. Sorry, my lady, I didn't mean anything. Really? I was quite interested in the origin of the colour, nothing else. The silent pause had lasted for several minutes. We plan to leave today, Lady May. She surprisingly looked at me. I wouldn't recommend doing it. The weather may get spoilt from minute to minute. The mountainous weather is so unstable. Besides, after yesterday's storm, the walls will return to paths. It would hardly be pleasant to meet them while you're in snow up to your knees. I looked acquaint to Lynn. Eh? I appreciate your opinion, and thanks for your breakfast. However, I think that we should risk... She is really hard to change her mind. In an hour or so, we're on our way. The sky was clear and transparent. The snow that already started melting was quite dazzling. It was almost surprising how the weather in this region changes condition. Lynn, who had taken my cloak before we left, turned it back. It's quite strange that she didn't ask warm clothes of the landlady. It'd be very useful in the future. I looked back at the gals going at the head. She had a map in her hands, and she checked it right on the go. Couldn't she check it while we were in the guest house? How long do we have to go? Lynn awkwardly turned to me and keep walking. Because of that, she almost fell into the snowdrift, having caught her ankle on the root of a tree. Leave me! I was lucky to catch Lynn right before her falling. Set her free from my hugs. You rumpled the map! Is this everything that really makes you worry? There's still 6 days to go to get to the capital. If you meant it. I didn't mean that. There's still 2 days to get to the nearest village. I angrily tapped my forehead. My head stopped aching. Quite quick, by the way. However, Lynn's condition left much to be desired. I told you we should have stayed. I cannot drag you all our way. If you feel with terrible fever, we can still turn back. No! Why no? The cold air started blowing all of a sudden, and I saw the sky how quick it was covered with the dark storm clouds. We need to turn back. But we must... What was it? Wolves. So close to us? Hurry, let's go! You're moving in the wrong direction! Forget about it! Sick! You're not able to fight. Fight? The wolf's howling comes again. It gets closer. I took Lin's sword and keeping moving, cut down the branches. I guess that will do. Several more stabs, and the branches were refined from the unnecessary broth. Here, take it back. We won't be able to turn back to that house without fighting. Is this Snow Wolf? Hello. A black shadow rushed like a whirlwind in my direction. However, I struck it with the branch and set it back. No, they're ordinary wolves, but it seems there are pretty many of them. Keep going, don't stop. But if they're usual, I will be able to overpower them. 2 more shadows flashed, but this time they rushed into Lin's direction. She tried to cut the first wolf, but the other pushed her aside, and she dropped her sword. The grinding sound of fangs followed, but luckily, the fangs ran across them with a slice. Damn! Hell Guardian armor. She was quite lucky the wolf's fangs not in her stomach or neck. These parts were covered with ordinary pieces of cloth. I, Harry Lingadon, pushed back these wooden creatures far away from them. The wind arose and it started snowing. I spoiled the reaction of attack. Take the sword and keep moving. Try to move 2 away from me. We keep moving back to me. As I guessed, there are approximately 10 species in the wolf pack, and I prevented them together. Theoretically, I could be able to kill them with Lin's sword, but I didn't want to risk as Lin might be a victim of the battle. The leader with red withers was the most serious opponent. It waited until his conjurers are pushed with my cane. I tried to attack Lin at that moment. However, I realised that Lin is my weakest point. But at last, Lina still had forces, and yes, she was not able to hurt it. She still could defend herself more carefully than before. Nonetheless, I started being tired. It seems we have almost arrived. The leader quickly attacked Lin. I haven't noticed that, pushed it back. Stay tuned! After several more dogs have been pushed away, May's house finally arrived. Seeing the house, the animals began to retreat. What the hell? I turned my face towards the house. I could see, through the storm, that there were 2 figures in front of the entrance. The first figure belonged definitely to May, but the second... long, wavy hairs and... is a special hat, or does she really have beast's ears? A werewolf! Apparently Lin also noticed the second figure. Calm down. In a situation like this, we will either become the food, or the pack of wolves will submit to the werewolf's existence. Definitely know how these rogues used to swipe over the whole villages. However, I also heard about peaceful beast folks, and I shall hope she's one of them. Otherwise, I couldn't explain she's standing calmly with me. Or she doesn't want to be friends with us. We need to find it out. Anyway, we do not have any choice but this. Uh-oh. We're keeping our weapons, the lady went down to the house. Apparently our werewolf gal was not surprised at how we appeared. Neither was May. My compliments to the wooden gal. She turned back to May. Will you show the way to Alberot? Weird gal. But at least she doesn't express her aggression. And that is for good. But what is Alberot? Why are you hobnobbing with werewolves? I told you she's a witch! White-haired gal looked at Lin with cool eyes, and May shook her shoulders. I'll repeat myself, Lady Lin. I am not a witch. What would you do if I were a powerful heiress and the whole clan of this race came to you and asked for your help? Would you decline? Lin angrily turned her head. Can we enter the house? Lin doesn't feel good. We were attacked by a pack of wolves in the forest and, taking into account it's still weathering, we couldn't rebuff properly. Alberot. I was interrupted by the werewolf girl. She didn't like the fact that her question didn't get the maximum of attention. Yes, Lady Shan. Lady Lin, please, enter the house. You young man have to come with us. Lady Shan insisted on it. Why should I go with you? where are you going to? Too many questions. Shen's eyes, at least she was called so by May, flashed with a fire. I relaxed too much, seeing the pretty girl instead of the werewolf. What will she do if she gets cross? Please follow me. I nodded to Lynn, thus giving a sign to enter the house, and I put the belongings right before the threshold. I hope they will be okay by the time I come back. May silently led us to the deep of the forest. We're getting closer to the bottom of the mountains. Question where... Hang on. The questions were on and on inside my head, but apparently nobody was in a hurry to answer them. The evil atmosphere was all around, and my feeling of danger surrounded and alarm. The demo stops here. And there we are, everyone. That was the Treasure of the Blizzard. My feedback, I would say, well, obviously the final version is, they said it will be considerably different. I'm hoping the spelling and grammar have improved, but it will be completely different, and yeah, I could see myself playing this more. I mean, I've played it this much, and it's been about 45 minutes or so. It's a pretty long video, but I enjoyed it overall. If you enjoyed it as well, you can view the game yourself. The link will be below, and there's also, obviously, Steam Greenlight. It's already been Greenlit approved, so just wait another week and it'll be done. Maybe I'll record the whole thing, I don't know, it depends how much it is. Stay tuned for some more, and I'll see you soon. Keep playing.